Good morning. I'm just pulling away from getting my Sheets coffee, my daily Sheets coffee. Today I just got standard, like regular house brew coffee with, they say yellow packet on the, when you order online. I say Splenda, so they had regular. I don't think they have pink packets. I think they might have pink packets, but you know, we know pink packets aren't the best, and those taste horrible anyway. I think NutraSweet is horrible. Anyway, this morning, my first student I had was one that I hadn't seen since July, and I was happy that he kind of went away, because I think I had like 16 classes with him. When I remember the name and the little symbol I put beside of him, like a grimace face. On when you can change their names on the platform, and so I went to his profile to see why I gave him that face. Looking at the past teacher-to-teacher reviews, and each one of them I put that the class was difficult or very difficult, because it was. Content was very difficult, and talked about how he didn't want to be there. He doesn't study between classes. Getting through a whole lesson is a chore, and he's rude, and he's this, and that, and so that I would know to. When I do, I put those so people know. Plus, if they're regular and they try to priority book, I would always not accept those ones, and I would just leave that open. I would leave that slot open until after the frenzy. Then I would make it available for booking, and it would get booked. And so I would do that if I was trying to kind of politely move a kid to another teacher. And I always put in the, if it's like that, I tend to put in the box at the bottom to the LP, I appreciate their time with them or something like that, but I feel that he and I or she and I are not a good match. Please find a better match. I make it polite. I don't make it like, I don't start trash talking the kid to the LP or to the parent. The feedback I put honest, and the teacher I put like honestly. I don't put horrible things. They say he's an idiot. I just put the things he thinks he do, the things he did in class that would cause it to either not be a successful class or being disruptive or anything like that. I would just be, very frank with him. But anyway, so I think they finally took the hint and he moved on to another teacher. Well, he was here on my last week. As you know, the last week you see people who booked him forever. And he'd had other teachers, and some were nice, and some were, were still nice, but talked about how he gave zero effort, this, and that. And so I was like, oh, that's good. My first class at 4:30 this morning. Was it 4:30? Yeah. And I'm going to, I need to, just prepare myself. It's early. I went ahead and I was like, well, I better drink my coffee. Because if I have my coffee, then I feel like I'm more prepared. I had just a cup of coffee. I didn't have a huge thing of it. And I'm more alert, and I'm not much fewer knee-jerk reactions if I'm well awake, not just still tired. And so before class began, I was decided in my head, this is the only class I have with him. This is the last class, and they're never going to book me ever again because of, the regulations. Old story, it's boring now. And so I said, I'm just going to have fun with him. I'm just going to play along with him. If we don't get through all the slides, so what? If we, do the best, laugh with him, just don't be so, ready to I never jumped his throat. I never did that. But I was always having to bring him back to class. It's always, basic, polite classroom management type things. I was never angry or harsh with him. But, we got through every slide and even finished a minute early because I took this approach. And it was probably the best class I've ever had with him. He fully participated. There were times he would be funny and silly, and I would just laugh with him, and he would I would cheer when he did something right. He would cheer along with me. And I taught him the fancy golf clap, and he would, when he gets stuff right, he'd go like a fancy face. he'd do that right along with me. Does like a sentence about playing chess. And he showed me a chessboard that he likes to play with. So he got his little chess pieces out, and they started reading the sentences, like the little horse was reading the sentences, whatever he was reading. And and I say shame on me for just now here at the end realizing that's what I need to do, and not have been so uptight about getting him through every single slide, and I'm not like usually, I don't make sure I make sure I do every slide, at least something. If I do have to skip, it's very nonchalant skip. I don't ever go push the arrow twice. I actually jump numbers, but that's very far, few between or few far. However that saying goes, far and few between. What was it? Few and far between. That's what it is. It's very few and far between. I think it's what it is. Yeah. That I actually have to ever skip. But we got through every slide, and it wasn't like we were rushing. We went through. It was well paced. We had fun. I think he had fun because he was always happy and laughing and smiling and clapping. And I was using AR stickers, and I was using my Manicam to make people dance behind me, like Elmo and Chippendale, and not Chippendales, like Chippendale the Disney characters. I didn't have Chippendales behind me. I always gotta watch out when I say that one. Chippendale, the little chipmunks from Disney. I think it's Disney, yeah. And I done lost my train of thought. Oh, and I had like a dancing banana and all that, and stars, and so, that's a shame on me for not taking that approach to someone like him much sooner. And because there have been students throughout, I can't even speak today. There's been students throughout the 2 years. I've been with them 2 years. The 2 years with VIP Kid that were very just like, oh my God, there's such a behavior, And I'm not talking about the ones who are playing video games during class, or the ones who are watching TV, or the ones who just don't give you anything. I'm talking about the ones who are kind of rambunctious, making silly faces, and they're too old to be acting like that type of deal. The ones who won't read, or when you provide a correction, they just look at you and don't want to fix it. I'm talking about those ones. The other ones who want to play video games and TV and do their homework, I guess I just, that's sayonara, bye. But these ones, taking that approach more often. And I found with some students I did that. If I'd had them for a while, I finally just did that. But this one, I don't know why I never did. And so it is a shame that at the last part of it that I decided to take that approach of let's just do this, have fun, so what? And I feel like it's happening to a lot of teachers as well, taking that kind of approach, not being worried about the whole Apple rating system, or not being worried about, what will the parents say about me? Now, I'm not saying, throw it in the garbage and do a trash lesson and give no concern to what parents want you to do. Certainly still keep that, they're still paying for a class, but I think to draw back a little bit more and make it a better experience for the children. And so, yeah, that's that part there. Oops on me, I can say oops, I can't do anything about it now because we're at the end of, this phase or stage, whatever you want to call it, VIP Kid. Yeah. And by the way, I think after I made the video pointing out the word pivot, I think everybody, not because of my video, because no one ever watches that, but I've heard the word pivot like double times. Pivot, 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 pivot. VIP is going to pivot. Teachers need to pivot. It's like people get a word and they want to run it to the ground. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to drink my coffee, head to work, and have a good one.